In this video, we're going to see, does your skin matter to your FPS? For this experiment, I chose two random skins, Calamity, which is widely known to be one of the worst, and the new one, Fade, which is pretty clean. I jumped to the agency 10 times and recorded my FPSs while in different situations. I randomly added an animated wrap and animated backpack. The videos ahead are just samples of some of those situations. My first attempt was with Calamity with no backpack and an animated wrap. As you can see, as we're flying in, the buildings do render, and so do the enemies pretty easy. We averaged about 18 frames per second on the flight with Calamity with just a wrap. Right here is the stick drift. I wish Nintendo would fix that. You can see when we get into any sort of fights that the FPS will hold pretty steady at 24. So even though there is 3 people in frame here, 2 actual characters and 1 AI, we still only hit a low of 24 frames per second. Not too bad. We did notice some drops when we did some editing. You'll notice here when I fight the first enemy, we don't have too bad of frame drop, held pretty steady at about 28. But when this other person comes in and with the explosions in building, we do drop down significantly, down to about 14 frames a second. I had this trouble no matter where I was at or if I was building or not. You can see here in just a drop down fight, I dropped down to 14 frames per second. Next we did Calamity. We chose an animated backpack and a wrap. As we come in, you're going to see that we have a lot of rendering issues. This held true on all of my attempts here. No matter what, the building always rendered late when I used Calamity and an animated backpack. This is Season 7 Nintendo stuff right here. Once I got through that initial, I didn't notice too many frame drops even when building. This one held really nice at roughly 23 frames per second. When I was firing far away, again, didn't notice anything too dramatic, about 23 frames per second again. We're now going to look at Fade. This is clean, no wraps, no backpack at all. First thing you're going to notice as we're jumping in here, that the building renders really nice and all of the weapons render well ahead of time. Very noticeable when coming in, the different rendering. Even when we get into a fight, frames held pretty steady there, again at 23 frames per second. This is a building and fight. We have Jules up there shooting, but we held real steady at 28 frames per second. Here we did Fade with an animated back bling and an animated wrap. You can see as we come in on this one that it doesn't render nearly as nice as the clean version of Fade, but still doesn't render too bad. Much better than Calamity though. We still have to get a little closer for it to render right, but eventually everything comes in clean. 22 frames per second here. When we get into a fight, we still hold pretty steady at 23 frames. I did notice some issues when close quarters with the backpack. You can see here we dropped all the way down to 15 frames a second. Final thoughts. I definitely noticed a difference between a clean fade and a Calamity, whether it was a backpack or a wrap. Definitely noticed a difference in my FPSs when I used a wrap or any kind of backpack. Let me know what you think or how I can improve this test.